that decision, because that's the word of the government. That's the way the government is now. And I think the same thing is true, with the healthcare plan. And as I said, look it up. Do a Google search of sustainable medicine, and you will see all of these provisions there. It's all very much a part of this whole agenda. And if the Supreme Court does it again and betrays the intention of the founders, betrays the Constitution, and upholds that, then it's one more nail in the coffin. Probably one we can't recover from. So.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Sean Curry. It seems to me that the sustainable movement is something that just hasn't happened overnight. If you go back to a lot of the historical basis for this, it goes back to Europe, 1700s, 1800s, through England, the royalty and the elite there. They've got their fingers into everything, education, business. So is there any models that show local communities how to take back different areas? One person can't do everything. But you have to split things up. Different people take on different things. Like, take, for example, the whole thing of funding. If a legislator knows that they've got funds, that they've got people covering their back, then they'll go ahead and make decisions in a certain way. But if you tell them, okay, we're going to get rid of Bigley, we're going to get rid of all the grants, but they have nothing else to fall back on, what do you do?
Yeah. First of all, you're absolutely right. This didn't come about. It didn't come about in 1992. They've been working on it. The UN held several meetings back into the 70s and even into the 60s, honing this thing. And there have been people since the beginning of time trying to figure out how to get government in control of everything. And you've had an emergence of all that coming together, nobody could possibly have sat down and written this whole thing out and said, here's the blueprint how we're going to take over the world. There's no way. It's happened hit and miss, and they do this and say, hey, this would work, how about this? And they've gone at it that way, and so slowly the matrix was put together. You're absolutely right. We can't all, one person cannot do this. I would even recommend that you go to a city council meeting by yourself. And try to raise a protest. You need to organize. You need to know what to do. Every one of you has a talent in something. It might be writing, it might be organizing, it might be raising money, it might be research, knowing exactly what to look for, how to go in after things, and so forth. You need to organize. And first of all, what I want to tell you is, before you do anything, put yourself in the shoes of your elected officials. Understand their world, because they're surrounded, and they may not know. They may legitimately not know what all this stuff is about, and that's getting less of a possibility because we're pounding on it so much. But they go, as I described, they go to these national meetings and they hear exactly the same thing, and they come home and they're surrounded in their meetings with these NGO groups pounding this stuff on them. And along comes one of you and says, I heard this guy DeWeese talk the other day, and you know what you're doing here? And they're going to go, what? And you have to take it slowly. Do your research before you do anything else. Look at the policies that they're talking about putting in place, and understand, study it and see how that's going to affect you, and what other group is it going to affect. Because as you said earlier, somebody said how do you get people it doesn't affect all of them? Well, find the people it does affect, and try to talk with them and try to get them to see the ways and recruit them into your efforts. And take the thing. Write a letter to your city councilman and say, did you understand this? This is going to happen. This is what's going to be the case. And see what they do. If they respond to you, you start a dialogue. If they don't respond to you, now you've been polite. Now you start the effort. And that's when you have to take some civic action. Write letters to the editor. Do not write a letter to the editor by yourself. Make sure you've got 3 or 4 more people to back up what you said to write letters, because they're going to have somebody to write letters to attack you, and they're going to have a backup and so forth. You have to organize. And I'm hoping that our action kit will help people in doing some of these things, and we'll start to organize.
Borrow the microphone for a second. Terrific program. Just a couple comments. We all just watched one of our own, Randy the window washer, take on the city of Bellingham and red light cameras. It's not too late to control our community, and I think it's an important message. A couple things. I've never heard the term ecologarchy before. I think that's a new one. I think we have heard about the religion of ecology superseding the science of ecology. It's my understanding that you have books that are for sale here, and that you might even be interested in signing or willing to sign them for people. This has been videotaped, and we are hoping to get this videotape on our public broadcasting station. I don't know if that will be possible, but perhaps with the help of the city councilman that's here, we can get this to get this viewed so that we can continue to spread the word. Terrific program. How about a big round of applause for Tom DeWeese? On behalf of the Northwest Business Club, I appreciate each and every one of you coming out today, and we are adjourned.